actual, figuring stuff out with the land should have been simple.
The paperwork took a long time because we couldn't agree. There was too much to agree on.
He's putting the whole thing on me that I slowed it down, that I'm the problem. But it had to do with the fact that they were trying to get me to sign a confidentiality agreement that I was not willing to agree to.
After we took the offer, Janelle was worried about losing the buyer. And so Janelle's pushing me to either complete with what Meri's wishes were or force the sell. I got in this place where I was backdoor deal almost with Janelle. Hey, we'll just sell it out from under these other two. This is why I was a terrible polygamist, because I can just sit down and shut up. I couldn't ever do that. I couldn't ever just do that with these wives and just manage it.
Sister Wives. Kody Brown's Diabolical Triangulation. Welcome back. Sister Wives Nation. What I'm about to reveal is going to absolutely shock you. Kody Brown just pulled off the most manipulative, calculated, diabolical move we've ever seen on this show, and it involves triangulating Janelle against Meri in a way that is so twisted, so strategic, it's actually scary. The receipts are fresh, the manipulation is real, and if you thought Kody couldn't sink any lower, buckle up, because season 20 just took a dark turn. You gotta hear every single detail of this master manipulation before the next episode drops. Season 20's shocking dynamic. All right, let's talk about where we are in Sister Wives season 20, because the landscape has completely shifted. Christine is living her best life with David, completely out of Kody's orbit, thriving. She's done, she's happy, and she's not looking back. Janelle has now officially ended things with Kody, but unlike Christine, she's still navigating these complicated family dynamics because of their shared children and grandchildren. And then there's Meri. After years of being strung along, treated like an afterthought, and given false hope, Meri finally walked away from Kody. She's been on her own journey of healing and self-discovery, building her LuLaRoe empire and finding herself outside of the plural marriage that defined her life for decades. But here's where it gets absolutely diabolical. Kody Brown, sitting all alone in his Flagstaff mansion with only Robyn remaining, has apparently decided that he can't just let his ex-wives move on in peace. No, he needs to hold on to the control, create chaos, and manipulate the narrative even after these women have left him. And his latest scheme? Triangulating Janelle against Meri in the most twisted power play we've ever witnessed. What is triangulation? Before we dive into the specifics of what Kody is doing, let's talk about what triangulation actually means, because understanding this manipulation tactic is crucial to seeing how calculated Kody's behavior really is. Triangulation is a manipulative maneuver in which someone creates a triangle of communication and conflict between three people instead of dealing with issues directly. The manipulator puts themselves in the middle and controls information flow between two other people, often pitting them against each other while positioning themselves as the victim, the hero, or the mediator. It's a classic narcissistic manipulation tactic, and relationship experts consider it one of the most damaging forms of emotional abuse because it destroys trust, creates unnecessary conflict, and gives the manipulator complete control over the narrative. Two people being triangulated often don't even realize they're being played against each other until the damage is already done. Sound familiar? Because Kody has been using this technique throughout his entire plural marriage, but what he's doing now in season 20 takes it to a completely new and disturbing level. The diabolical move revealed. So here's what's happening in season 20 that has Sister Wives fans absolutely reeling. According to multiple sources close to the family and what we're seeing play out on screen, Kody has been having separate conversations with Janelle about Meri, painting Meri as the villain in their family's dysfunction. But here's the twist that makes this so incredibly manipulative. Kody simultaneously has been telling Meri that Janelle has always been jealous of her, that Janelle never respected the plural marriage hierarchy, and that Janelle is the reason their family fell apart. He's literally telling each woman that the other one is the problem, while conveniently leaving out his own massive role in destroying multiple marriages. The footage from season 20 shows Kody in separate conversations being sympathetic to each woman about the other. With Janelle, he's nodding along when she expresses frustration about family dynamics, subtly inserting comments about how Meri never fully accepted the other wives. With Meri, he's playing the wounded husband who tried so hard to make everyone happy, but Janelle's independence and strong personality made it impossible. This isn't an accident. This isn't just Kody venting to different people. This is calculated, strategic triangulation created to keep both women focused on each other and not realize that he is the common denominator in all of their pain. The historical context, what makes this current triangulation even more insidious, is that Kody has been laying the groundwork for years. If you go back and watch earlier seasons with this lens, you can see the pattern everywhere. He would complain to Christine about Meri's coldness, then turn around and tell Meri that Christine didn't respect their original marriage. He'd confide in Janelle about tensions with other wives, positioning himself as the poor husband trying to keep peace. But in those earlier seasons, the wives were still committed to the plural marriage and to each other. They could compare notes, call out inconsistencies, and support each other against Kody's manipulation. The sister-wife bond, while imperfect, provided some protection against his triangulation attempts. Now that Christine, Janelle, and Meri have all left, Kody has adapted his strategy. He can't triangulate between current wives anymore. So he's triangulating between ex-wives, trying to ensure that even in their freedom from him, they're still dealing with conflict and chaos that he created. It's vindictive, it's controlling, and it's absolutely diabolical. Janelle's perspective and vulnerability, let's talk about why this triangulation is particularly effective with Janelle right now. Janelle has always prided herself on being the logical, rational, low-drama wife. She didn't engage in the emotional conflicts that sometimes erupted between other wives. She focused on her kids, her work, and maintaining a practical approach to plural marriage. But here's what makes Janelle vulnerable to Kody's current manipulation. She's hurt. Despite her practical exterior, Janelle invested decades into this plural marriage. She raised 6 children largely on her own while Kody was busy with other wives. She believed in the principle, the family, the vision they were building together. When that all fell apart, Janelle experienced a profound sense of loss and betrayal. And in that vulnerable place, Kody is feeding her a narrative that makes sense of her pain by directing it toward Meri. He's suggesting that if Meri had been more committed, more loving, more accepting of the other wives from the beginning, maybe the whole family dynamic would have been different. It's brilliant manipulation because it contains just enough truth to be believable. Yes, Meri struggled with jealousy in the early years. Yes, there was tension between Meri and the other wives. But Kody is conveniently leaving out his own role in creating and exploiting those tensions, his favoritism toward Robyn, his emotional neglect of multiple wives, and his complete failure to lead the family he claimed to love. Meri's perspective and vulnerability. Now let's look at Meri's side of this diabolical equation, because she's equally vulnerable to Kody's triangulation, just in different ways. Meri spent years being treated as less than by Kody. After the catfishing scandal, he essentially froze her out emotionally while keeping her on the hook legally and publicly. Meri has done extensive therapy and self-work. She's built a successful business. She's found her voice and her strength. But there's still a part of her that seeks validation for all those years she spent trying to make her marriage work while being treated like she didn't matter. Kody is exploiting that vulnerability by positioning himself as someone who now understands what Meri went through. He's rewriting history in their private conversations, suggesting that he always valued Meri, but the other wives, especially Janelle, made it impossible for him to show her the attention she deserved. He's painting Janelle's independence and emotional unavailability as disrespectful too. Meri's position as first wife. This narrative is incredibly seductive for Meri because it validates years of feeling overlooked and undervalued. It gives her someone to blame besides Kody. It suggests that maybe she wasn't the problem after all. Maybe it was Janelle's inability to embrace plural marriage properly. Again, there's just enough truth mixed in to make the lie believable. Janelle did maintain more emotional independence than the other wives. She didn't participate in the same level of intimate family bonding. But Kody is twisting these facts to serve his manipulation, sidestepping his own emotional abuse and his blatant favoritism, not to mention failing to uphold his commitments to any of his wives properly. The evidence from season 20, what makes this season particularly explosive, is that we're seeing the evidence of this triangulation play out in real time. In episode 3, there's a scene where Kody is on the phone with Janelle discussing Coyote Pass and family property issues. During this conversation, he makes several pointed comments about how some people never really committed to the family vision, how certain wives were more interested in their own comfort than in building something together. He didn't name Meri explicitly, but the context makes crystal clear who he's talking about. Janelle, who's already hurt and processing her own feelings about the family dissolution, absorbs these comments. You can see her nodding, adding her own observations about different commitment levels among the wives. Then in episode 5, we see Kody having coffee with Meri, ostensibly to discuss some remaining legal and financial matters. During this conversation, Kody shifts into wounded husband mode. He talks about how hard it was to balance everyone's needs, how some wives made it easier than others, how the more independent ones didn't really understand what he was trying to build. Again, no names, but implication is obvious. Meri, who spent years feeling like she was the wife who cared too much while others cared too little, soaks up this validation. She makes comments about commitment and loyalty that align perfectly with Kody's narrative. The most chilling part? In both conversations, Kody positions himself as the victim of circumstances beyond his control, the devoted husband who tried his best but was undermined by the incompatibility between his wives. It's masterful manipulation, and it's absolutely diabolical. The Robyn factor, we cannot discuss Kody's triangulation strategy without mentioning the Robyn factor, because she plays an important part in this entire scheme. She is the only wife remaining, meaning she has Kody's ear 24/7. She's the one he goes home to after these conversations with Janelle and Meri. She's the one helping him process and potentially strategize about these ongoing relationships with his ex-wives. Now, we don't have concrete evidence that Robyn is actively participating in the triangulation strategy, but fans have noticed some interesting patterns. On social media and in interview segments, Robyn has been making subtle comments that align perfectly with Kody's triangulation narrative. She suggested that some wives were more committed to plural marriage than others, that different levels of participation contributed to the family breakdown, that Kody tried so hard to make everyone happy, but it wasn't always reciprocated. Whether Robyn is an active co-conspirator or just a convenient sounding board, her presence and influence cannot be ignored. She benefits from this triangulation strategy because it keeps the focus on conflicts between the ex-wives rather than on the Kody-Robyn relationship that many fans blame for the family's implosion. Some fans theorize that Robyn might even be encouraging this triangulation because it reinforces her position as the good wife, the one who truly understood and supported Kody while the others were too caught up in their own issues. It's a narrative that protects both Kody and Robyn from taking full accountability for the family's destruction. The impact on the children, one of the most heartbreaking aspects of Kody's triangulation strategy, is how it affects the adult children who are watching their father manipulate their mothers. These kids grew up in a plural family where they were taught that the sister-wife bond was sacred, that their mother's friendship was a cornerstone of their family's success. Now they're watching their father systematically work to destroy whatever remains of that bond. They see him planting seeds of resentment and blame between women who used to support each other. They actually witness the manipulation in real time, and many of them have spoken out about this. Gwendolyn Brown, Christine's daughter, has been pretty vocal on social media and within her own content about recognizing manipulation patterns in her dad. She's called out triangulation specifically, noting how Dad Kody would always have different stories for different people and how this technique kept everybody confused and fighting with each other instead of holding him accountable. Even Garrison and Gabriel, Janelle's sons, who have expressed frustration with their father's inability to take responsibility and shift blame onto others for family problems, don't use the specific word triangulation, but they describe exactly this behavior pattern. And here's why it matters. The adult children are suffering. They love their moms, and they're watching these women whom they respect get manipulated and hurt again, even after leaving the marriage. This is creating additional layers of trauma and conflict within a family that's already been through enough. Why this matters beyond the show, you might be wondering why we're spending so much time analyzing Kody's manipulation tactics. After all, this is reality TV, right? But here's why this matters. Triangulation is a real manipulation technique that happens in real relationships, and by watching it play out on sister wives, viewers can learn to recognize it in their own lives. Thousands of people are in relationships with manipulative partners who use triangulation to maintain control. They may not be in plural marriages, but the tactic is the same. The manipulator creates conflict between two other people to keep them from comparing notes and recognizing the real problem. It could be a partner pitting you against a family member, a parent creating conflict between siblings, a boss setting employees against each other. By seeing Kody's triangulation so clearly documented on television, viewers can identify the pattern. The private conversations, the subtle blame shifting, the wounded victim routine, the different stories for different people, the focus on everyone's flaws except the manipulator's own behavior. Relationship therapists have, in fact, been using clips from sister wives to illustrate manipulation tactics to their clients. The show has become a surprisingly rich resource for understanding narcissistic relationship patterns, emotional abuse, and manipulation strategies. The sister wives respond. What makes season 20 particularly compelling is that Janelle and Meri are starting to wake up to what's going on. There's this incredible moment in episode 7 where Janelle is talking to her daughter Madison about Kody's comments about Meri, and Madison gently points out that dad has always said different things to different people. You can see the realization dawning on Janelle's face, that she's being manipulated, that her anger toward Meri might be misdirected, that Kody is still controlling the narrative even though she's left the marriage. It's a breakthrough moment, and it's incredibly powerful to witness. Meanwhile, there are indications that Meri's waking up to the game being played as well. She started being more cautious about what she shares with Kody and has been reaching out more to the other ex-wives, comparing notes and experiences. The triangulation only works when the targets are isolated from each other. When they start communicating directly, the manipulation becomes obvious. There's even been some suggestion that Christine has been instrumental in helping both Janelle and Meri recognize Kody's triangulation strategy. Since Christine has been out of the marriage longest and has done the most healing work, she has the clearest perspective on Kody's manipulation patterns. She's reportedly been encouraging both women to talk to each other directly rather than relying on Kody's version of events. The broader pattern of control, this triangulation strategy, is just one piece of a much larger pattern of control that Kody has maintained throughout his plural marriage. Looking back at 20 seasons of Sister Wives with fresh eyes, you can see manipulation tactics everywhere. He controlled finances and information, keeping wives dependent and in the dark about family resources. He controlled time and attention, using schedule conflicts and rotation drama to maintain scarcity and competition. He controlled narrative and validation, deciding at any given moment which wife was being reasonable or difficult. He controlled family decisions while making wives feel like they had input. He controlled image and presentation, especially as the family became more public. The triangulation we're seeing in season 20 is just the latest evolution of these control tactics. Kody has lost the authority that came with being a husband to multiple women, so he's adapted. He can't control their time or finances or decisions anymore, but he can still try to control the narrative and create chaos in their post-marriage lives. It's vindictive, it's calculated, and it reveals so much about who Kody Brown really is beneath the wounded, misunderstood patriarch persona he tries to present. Expert analysis relationship experts and therapists who've analyzed this season have been vocal about how textbook Kody's manipulation really is. Dr. Ramani, an expert on narcissistic relationships, has discussed Sister Wives as a prime example of how narcissistic individuals use triangulation to maintain control. According to experts, what makes Kody's triangulation particularly effective is that he's had decades to perfect his technique. He knows exactly which buttons to push with each woman. He knows Janelle's triggers around commitment and fairness. He knows Meri's vulnerabilities around validation and acceptance. He uses that intimate knowledge to craft narratives that will resonate with each person specifically. Therapists also point out that Kody's triangulation serves multiple purposes simultaneously. It keeps his ex-wives emotionally entangled with him and the family drama, preventing them from fully moving on. It deflects accountability away from himself by focusing attention on conflicts between the women. It allows him to play victim and hero simultaneously in different conversations. and it potentially interferes with any healing or reconciliation that might occur between the ex-wives independent of him. The level of strategic thinking required for this kind of manipulation suggests this isn't just reactive behavior. This is calculated, intentional psychological manipulation designed to serve Kody's emotional needs and desire for control. What happens next as season 20 continues? The fans are all over the place, waiting to see this triangulation drama unfold. Will Janelle and Meri figure it out and make some comparisons? Will they confront Kody directly about his manipulation? Will they disengage from him entirely, finally recognizing that any contact with him gives him opportunities to create more chaos? And then there is another concern, what this will mean for future family dynamics. With the arrival of grandchildren and family events that at least require some level of coordination, complete disengagement with Kody isn't always practical or desirable for the ex-wives. They have to find ways to co-parent and co-grandparent with someone who's still manipulating and triangulating. Some are sincerely hoping for a powerful moment when the ex-wives can stand united against the manipulation, perhaps going together to confront Kody about their pattern and refusing any more to play into his triangulation games. That would be some incredibly satisfying television, which again would send an incredibly strong message about female solidarity against manipulation. Other fans fear damage has been done, and the relationships among the ex-wives are too fractured ever to fully heal, and that Kody's triangulation has permanently damaged the family for years to come. There you go. Sister Wives Family, the complete breakdown of Kody Brown's absolutely diabolical triangulation strategy against Janelle and Meri in season 20. This manipulation is next level calculated, and it proves that even after his wives leave, Kody is still trying to control the narrative to create chaos. The psychology behind this is, quite frankly, fascinatingly disturbing, and I hope that both Janelle and Meri recognize what's happening before any more damage occurs. Now, what do you think of this triangulation strategy? Have you experienced Kody's manipulation tactics within your life or your relationships? Do you think Janelle and Meri will figure out what he's doing and unite in opposition? Throw your thoughts, your analysis, your hot takes in the comments below, because this conversation is absolutely crucial and I want to hear from every single one of you. Listen, if you made it all the way to the end of this deep dive into Kody's manipulation, you are clearly as invested in sister wives psychology as I am. So here is what I need you to do. Hit that subscribe button right now and smash that notification bell so you never miss another breakdown of the manipulation, the drama, and the truth behind what's really happening with the Brown family. Share this video with anyone who needs to understand triangulation tactics, whether they watch Sister Wives or not, because this information could genuinely help someone recognize manipulation in their own life. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you're done with Kody's manipulative games and your team ex-wives all the way. Comment below with which moment from season 20 has shocked you the most, and let's get a conversation going about how we can all recognize and resist triangulation in our own relationships. Follow me on all the socials for exclusive Sister Wives content, behind the scenes tea, expert analysis, and real-time reactions as season 20 continues to unfold. Trust me, with the way this season is going, there's so much more to discuss and dissect. Until next time, Sister Wives Nation, stay aware, stay skeptical of manipulation, recognize triangulation when you see it, and remember that anyone who tries to turn you against others while positioning themselves as the victim is showing you exactly who they are. Believe them. Peace out.